Okay, growing up crazy bonus materials number 2, empaths and why you need to be wary of them. I know this is going to run counter to everything that you've ever heard on social media, and that's why I feel like I really need to do this, is because if you're like me and interested in genuine psychic phenomenon and the truth, you really do need to be wary of these people that run around calling themselves as empaths, because I've tended to notice that everybody that they don't like, usually their exes, are narcissists, and how they define everything is empaths are the ones that feel, narcissists are the ones that don't, which is a pretty shoddy definition if you ask me. And I'll get into that why. And it's because when you do genuinely feel the pain coming from others, what I've noticed it's being defined as empathy right now is somebody that is willing to hurt themselves in order to exist with you in the space of your pain. That's not empathy, and that's not helpful. I remember when I was younger one time, like I'd slammed my thumb in the door. I was talking to my father as a teenager, and I accidentally slammed my thumb in something, and it severely damaged the nail. And it's like just that, that immediate feeling. And my dad, he's a wonderful person. He's also a little bit masochistic, and he does this. To try to identify with people, he'll hurt himself so that he can exist with you in that pain. And that's how he feels, that's what he believes helping is. And it's not. And when I was sitting there existing in that pain, he put his hand on my shoulder and I could feel the pain he was causing himself. And I had to tell him very calmly. And I was like, Dad, you need to go. Just please walk away for the moment. Just please walk away. And I finally told him later, he was confused and I could tell like a little bit hurt, but he walked away because he's a nice person. And all he really did genuinely want to do was help. And when he came back, I explained it to him. I was like, Dad, hurting yourself isn't helping me, Really, when I'm in pain, what I want to do is I want to laugh, I want to be distracted, I want to, or at least have a voice that helps me process it, helps me get through it. That's helping with the pain. It's a bucket that's full and needs to be emptied. Somebody pouring, if you have a 5-gallon bucket that's full, somebody pouring another 5-gallon bucket on top of yours, or setting one next to you, doesn't make it better. It just means now you have twice the amount. Now you have 10 gallons to deal with instead of 5. And we're being taught this, and we really need to stop. When you see this stuff on Facebook, just tune it out. Trust me, you people out there, especially if you're younger, don't fall for it. It's a trap. You probably won't get that reference either. But yes, because these people will actively tell you, and they'll expect you to hurt yourself when they're in pain. And if you don't do it, and then we'll get into the other side of this, and it's a wolf in sheep's clothing kind of thing, because people that I feel truly are narcissists do this. They run around claiming empath status, and what it is they recognize that being in pain generally draws attention, sympathy, and support from those around them, and they will intentionally put themselves in pain, just not to identify with you, but to make it about them, to draw the focus back to themselves, because they always want the focus to be about themselves. And so be wary of people that always talk about feeling the pain of others, because normally it's self-importance in disguise. They just want the focus to remain on them. I knew a woman like this. It was, so I don't want to get into it, but there was some issues in northern Syria that I was really upset about. U.S. foreign policy that had to do with northern Syria, the tribes in northern Syria that we fostered in the civil war and then abandoned. I was really upset about. And I remember her, she was like, I can't make it out of bed because of what's going on in northern Syria. And that's when this idea really, really came to me, as I realized, I was like, that's yourself, like, you're making this about you, not about them. And so be very, very wary of that. Be cognizant of it, be wary of it. Be wary of it in general, because either way, you're being actively encouraged to hurt yourself, and that's not good. The true empath just won't understand why you're not hurting yourselves, and they'll be a little bit upset with you. They'll turn to you like you're abandoning them, like you're leaving them alone, and they won't interpret anything you're doing to help as help, as benefit. They'll just see you as abandoning them, as you don't care, because that's how they identify caring. That's how they've been taught to identify caring, is you're not hurting yourself, so therefore you don't care. And just be wary of that. Be secure. Be secure in your space. Just line up with genuine compassion. Line up with your genuine compassion to help. And sometimes helping is just being present. And also sometimes helping is just recognizing when there is no helping, when they're in a space that they need to get out of and you have no way of helping that. But the only way you can help is to act from a space of genuine compassion. And remember, you can never do for somebody else. The ones to truly be wary are the narcissists. And you can spot them because they say they feel everything. And trust me, that's not true. Being that I do feel things and feel things all the time, I don't feel everything. I don't feel the suffering of the Northern Kurds. You know what I mean? It was intellectually enraging me, but I don't feel like, and to pretend like I do is just making it about me. So when you see this, now maybe once or twice, maybe you can be tapped into something larger than itself. But be wary of the people that claim that status all the time and about anything, especially whatever the current hot button topic is, because all they're really doing is making it about them. And that is best to just be avoided, just ignore and avoid. And I've just noticed that this is just one of those paths that is a trap. Just don't go down the path. Be centered and comfortable with your own desire to help. Understand that it's a genuine desire to help. If you don't have a genuine desire to help, then realize that that's, if you so choose, that's your goal, is to be secured, centered, and have a genuine desire to help the planet and your fellow creatures on it. And that is good enough. Trust me. That what the Bible verse says, seek God your whole heart and your whole mind and love your neighbor as yourself, that is, and all laws are contained within, that is totally good enough. And I don't mean to keep quoting that. And I think the next podcast I do will be on exactly what draws me to using that religion in particular. Because there is a story, there's a growing up crazy story behind all of it. I actually, because of my childhood, had stepped away from using things like that. And which is my want. Whenever I realize I have a problem with something, I get back into it as a way to face my fears. And that's what I've done, and I'm glad I did. That'll be the subject of next episode. But for right now, all you true empaths out there, be careful, be wary, be centered, be secured, and be centered in compassion, especially self-love. Self-love, because there is a difference between service and sacrifice. Service is amazing. It benefits you and the world around you. Sacrifice is taking a little bit of yourself and putting it on the altar, and sacrifice is never good. Don't do that. Just do not do that. Service, yes. Sacrifice, no. Because all you're feeding is cancer. You're just feeding the cancer. You're feeding somebody else's self-importance. All right, cheers. Growing Up Crazy bonus. Ciao. Oh, yeah, and one final thing that I just remembered. Also, the best way to spot a narcissist is the true empath will just not understand why you're not hurting yourself, why you're leaving. They'll interpret it that you're leaving them to be alone. The narcissist will hurt you for not hurting yourself. That's how you really tell, because you're refusing to make it about them. And they will lash out and they will cause you pain because they feel like you should be in pain as well, to make it, because they're making it about their pain, but they want you to be in pain with them. That's the difference in the contemporary view of empathy, is that you hurt yourself so you could exist with somebody. The narcissist wants you to do that, to make it all about them. And if you don't, but the empath will do it for you. The narcissist wants you to do it for them. And if you don't, they'll hurt you anyway. So be very, very wary of that. But that is one of the true ways to spot that. All right, cheers. Growing Up Crazy. Much love. Ciao.